Welcome back to another episode of Conversations Unplugged. I'm Tom, and today I'm joined by our special guest, Jenny. How are you doing today, Jenny?
Hi, Tom. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the podcast. I'm excited to dive into today's topic.
Absolutely, Jenny. Today we'll be discussing a fascinating story that has been making headlines recently. As some of our listeners may know, we will be exploring an article published in the New York Times titled China's Evergrande Crisis, a tale of debt, property, and uncertainty.
Yes, Tom. It's a gripping story indeed. The article delves into the financial troubles faced by China's Evergrande, one of the country's largest property developers. It's a story that has sent shockwaves through the global economy.
Absolutely, Jenny. To provide some context for our listeners, Evergrande is a behemoth in the Chinese real estate market with projects spanning residential, commercial, and cultural sectors. The company's rise to prominence was nothing short of meteoric, fueled by China's rapid urbanization and the insatiable demand for housing.
That's right, Tom. But as the article explains, Evergrande's exponential growth was accompanied by a staggering accumulation of debt. The company borrowed heavily to finance its ambitious expansion plans, leading to a debt mountain that reached over $300 billion.
That's an astronomical amount of debt, indeed. The article highlights how this debt-fueled growth strategy started to unravel when China introduced new regulations aimed at curbing excessive borrowing in the real estate sector. It sent shockwaves through the industry, causing property prices to decline and Evergrande's sales to plummet.
Exactly, Tom. The ripple effects of Evergrande's financial troubles extended far beyond China's borders. The company's expansive reach meant that its financial obligations impacted suppliers, contractors, and even individual homebuyers who had invested their life savings in Evergrande projects.
And the reverberations were felt in financial markets worldwide as well. Evergrande's uncertain future triggered concerns about a potential contagion effect in global markets. The fear of a possible collapse sent shockwaves through investors, leading to a significant sell-off in stocks not only in China, but also abroad.
Absolutely, Tom. It's a classic example of how interconnected the global economy is today. In the article, it's highlighted that Evergrande's troubles exposed the risks associated with China's runaway property market and its outsized role in the country's economy.
Indeed, Jenny. The article also sheds light on how the Chinese government responded to this crisis. Recognizing the potential systemic risks, they made concerted efforts to mitigate the fallout. They introduced measures to support Evergrande's bondholders and encouraged local governments to step in and stabilize the property market.
That's correct, Tom. It's interesting to see how governments step in during times of crisis to prevent the domino effect of a company's collapse. However, these measures were not without their critics. Some argue that the government's intervention may perpetuate moral hazard, where companies believe they can take on excessive risks, knowing that they will be bailed out.
That's a valid point, Jenny. The article explores the delicate balancing act the Chinese government faces. On one hand, they want to prevent a systemic collapse and protect the livelihoods of millions of people tied to Evergrande. On the other hand, they need to send a signal that reckless borrowing and speculative practices in the real estate sector will no longer be tolerated.
Absolutely, Tom. And as we continue to follow this story, it will be interesting to see how it unfolds. Will Evergrande be able to restructure its debt successfully and regain stability? Or will it face a more severe reckoning, leading to a significant shakeup in China's property market?
Only time will tell, Jenny. But regardless of the outcome, this story serves as a reminder of the complexities involved in managing a rapidly growing economy and the need for vigilance in the face of potential risks.
Absolutely, Tom. It's been a thought-provoking discussion today, and I'm sure our listeners will appreciate the deeper insights provided by the New York Times article. As always, it's crucial to stay informed and understand the ripple effects that events in one part of the world can have on the global stage.
Well said, Jenny. And with that, we come to the end of today's episode of Conversations Unplugged. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on China's Evergrande crisis. Remember to stay curious and keep seeking knowledge. Thanks for joining us today, Jenny.
Thank you, Tom. I had a great time discussing this intriguing story. Until next time,